our purchase is largely dominated by dry groceries. Almost 1/3 of our monthly purchases are dry groceries. Most of the international food and grocery retailers have very little, if not zero, experience with regard to sourcing dry grocery. So what are they going to do? They have to learn. It's a learning curve. APMC is a law which actually prohibits people from going and cleaning up the supply chain, because it was instituted, it stands for Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee. It was brought in to enable farmers to get better realization, but like all good things in our country, very soon it is used for personal gains. So today APMC yards are cartels which drive their own agenda. There are rules which define that you can't hold more than so many tons of grain. So in this context, I really fail to understand how the supply chain is going to be dramatically changed. Having said that, the other problem with this entire debate about FDI is, we all tend to think FDI Walmart, FDI Tesco. Why not FDI Toys R Us? Why not FDI Home Depot or Lowe's? I don't know whether you even heard the name Lowe's. They are all categories which have a huge latent demand in the Indian market. Even now, I'm sure all of us have that little child in our deep inside our subconscious, and if there's this absolutely brilliant toy shop, we'd love to go there and indulge ourselves. There's one in Express Avenue, Hamleys. For those of you who have gone there, I am 100% sure, and I can bet on it, you would have loved walking through and you only wish that it had not come 25-30 years ago. Right? So, again, going back to the FDI debate, with specific reference to the clauses that are being listed out by the cabinet decision. One of the clauses, 30% should be sourced from micro and small industries. Now, if I'm Toys R Us or Hamleys and I'm coming to the country, yeah, sure, I can go to Srirangapatna and pick up those nice wooden toys. I can go to maybe Ludhiana and pick up some other kind of toys. There are a lot of regional folk toys. I can go to some of the places and maybe pick up some pallamudi and sell it. But will it cost you 30% of the kind of sale I can generate? So, are we not setting ourselves up to fail in this entire decision with regard to FDI? And last but not the least, after doing all these nice things, the Trade and Commerce Minister actually goes and says, actually, the FDI decision we have taken, but it's up to the state. They can choose not to allow anybody because the trade licenses are in their hand. Shops and establishment is in their hand. Then why waste so much of time, ministerial bandwidth, government bandwidth, media, tons and tons of media, newsprint and airtime, if we are just going to take a posture and then throw it back to the state? Is it good or bad? Like everything, a knife in the hands of a surgeon is excellent, in the hands of a murderer, deadly. Well regulated, any industry is great, whether FDI or no FDI. Not regulated, it's a disaster. The best example I can give you with regard to foreign operators actually making a difference to the local economy is, say, a country like Dubai, where they have put some very sensible, framework with regard to ownership, with regard to operation. So there is a lot of benefit that resides inside the economy. And this subconscious fear of all of us that, oh my God, are we recreating East India Company? 10 years later, we will be subjects of Mr. Obama instead of Queen Elizabeth. It's not going to happen. Subject to structuring it properly. Lastly, frankly, if you ask me, the next topic or a more important topic would be allowing retail to become an industry, or rather making retail into an industry, because a lot of these ambiguities, a lot of these nice grey areas which are being misused or manipulated for different means can then be cleaned up. Structurally, it can be a much better playing field which will benefit the consumer, obviously improve the operating standards of retail, and without a doubt benefit the economy, because your tax realization and contribution to your GDP etc. becomes much better. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajesh, for that wonderful and candid presentation. He has thrown open a lot of questions for thought now, and I'm sure during the interaction session we will have more of them thrown to him. Let me now move on to Mr. Shekhar Swami. With due apologies to the other speakers, we should accept that when we thought about this program for our FFT, the first name that came to our mind was Mr. Shekhar Swami. It's because we were tracking a lot of his articles in different media and was very strongly expressing his views against FDI in retail. Let me introduce him briefly and then leave the floor to him. Mr. Shekhar Swami holds an MBA from University of Delhi and an MS from Northwestern University. He is the Group CEO of the R.K. Swami Hansa companies operating in India and USA in over 2 decades with the group. Shekhar has helped build one of the most integrated marketing service businesses with exceptionally talented people covering an array of offerings, brand solutions, advertising and marketing, communications, market research, data analytics, interactive, etc. He is a pioneer in the development of on-site, off-site plus offshore delivery model in marketing services to serve companies in the USA. Shekhar is rated among the best marketing and business strategists by clients and colleagues alike. His knowledge of brand creation and management, his innate understanding of the DNA of brands, his depth and his wide global perspective is among the best in the business. His approach is practical, taking into account the dynamics of each organization. His experience and interest in cross-border communications led him, along with Professor Don Schultz, if I pronounced the name rightly, to successfully develop a course on global marketing communications. Shekhar and Don have been co-teaching this course for the graduate students of integrated marketing communications at Northwestern University for 15 years. The university inducted Shekhar into the Alumni Hall of Achievement in 2002 and ran honorary dean. May we now listen to Mr. Shekhar.
Mr. Srinivas Raghavan, Mr. Vishwanathan, I just learned that Rajesh is actually Retail Rajesh, so Mr. Retail Rajesh. And Saraswati, if I had known that you were going to give me such a nice introduction, I would have given you more information. To begin with, my compliments to the Madras Chamber. The debate on whether this is good timing or bad timing, I think it is exceptionally fantastic timing. Mr. Srinivas Raghavan and Ms. Saraswati, I would like to know the astrologer that the Madras Chamber uses, so that my brother is here. He has a habit of checking out many things which impacts my life, so I would like to get a good pointer to the right astrologist. I must also state that I am in a sensitive situation. Mr. Vishwanathan is here. Vivek is a client of ours. So when this invitation came up, Ms. Saraswati, of course, either deliberately, either act of omission or commission, I don't know, but she didn't share that information. Mr. Vishwanathan, let me state that the views that I express are my own, it's personal, and my organization will continue to serve you as well as they do. I'm not a trader or a retailer. I have no vested interest in the retail game. I'm not an economist. I don't claim to know the theories of economics. Although I do have some sense of what markets, how they behave and how they work. I'm not an activist. But I can see hopefully spot some problems. And if they are against my common experience, sometimes I am urged to express my view. I am not an advocate of protectionism in our markets. In our own business, we have not advocated protectionism. We compete and we are very happy to compete. Let me start with a confession and to my fellow speakers that I requested to be the third speaker. I wanted to listen to both of you first, which I have, and having heard them, let me start with an apology to both of you, because I think part of the reason they agreed to put me on the third, as the third speaker is that I am going to disagree with many of the views expressed here. Lot of smoke and mirrors in this game of FDI in retail particularly. I want to focus on FDI. And this is about foreign direct investment. And let me place this perspective that I have. The first perspective is one of time. Okay, have retailers closed, not closed? Has the kirana going to be there, not going to be there? So many things are being said. Yesterday I was listening to somebody on TV, he said, oh, let this policy happen, or we'll wait for 6 months, we'll see what happens. This is a senior guy who is expressing this view. It is not about 6 months. It is not about 1 year. It is not even about a few years. We must assess FDI in retail over the next 5 to 10 to 20 years. So that is my first perspective. Please look at this with a time horizon not less than 10 years, if not more. In the short term, I agree with everything that is being said. Money will come. Obviously, when money flows in, it will have its own churn, it will have its own momentum, it will have its own impact. Some people will get rich, people will say, ah, it's wonderful. All those things that people talk about, technology, this, that, and the other, will happen to the degree it will happen. The government, fantastic for them. They are already saying that the reforms agenda is intact. That's all they want to say. So they have announced. And as Retail Rajesh points out, you have announced something, but can you actually implement? That's a different matter. Oh, I am for reforms. So get the critics off my back. They have done that. Second thing I want to say is, I am not going to stand here and speculate for you. There is no guesswork. There is no need to have guesswork here. The negative impact of big foreign retail has reverberated and it continues even now throughout the world. Everything that I am saying has already happened elsewhere. Okay? One good thing in the numbers that Mr. Vishwanathan put out is that Indian, whatever, the penetration, etc. is 9%. And he says Malaysia is 55%. I'll give you some numbers as I go along. And you can judge for yourself what is happening elsewhere and what is the impact. So we must look at the right learnings, right situations from around the world. And it is available. If it is available to me, it is available to everybody. It is available to the government, it is available to all the friends in retail and so forth. So let me declare my position unequivocally. I consider the policy on retail FDI to be one of the most convoluted and disastrous initiatives of any government in a long time. It is anti-national in its core. It is anti-common man in its sweep. It is anti-farmer and anti-rural in its imprint. And it is anti-consumer in its impact. And I will share with you facts when you can either hang me or you can kick me out of the room or whatever you wish to do. So to understand this, we must ask ourselves 8 questions. What does this policy actually mean? The intent. Not whether we can implement it today or tomorrow or not. Over time, what is the intent? Whom is the government actually permitting? into the country in the name of FDI. What is their track record? What is the central operating philosophy of these companies? Who will they displace and what will be the scale of disruption? What sort of markets do they have? It's public knowledge. Who does the policy benefit? Why should we care about this policy? And finally, what should we actually be doing to address the issues relating to retail? First, what is the policy? In essence, it means that foreign companies, and Sir Obama will be delighted to be around 10 years from now, but I think he's got a job problem coming up in the next 12 months. So maybe to somebody else. Anyway, it means foreign companies, most likely European, American or Japanese, will buy produce or products from within India, add a markup and sell that to Indians for a profit, which presumably will flow out of the country if they make a profit. There is also all kinds of arguments whether they will not make a profit. The Indian market is too complicated, knowledge of retail, knowledge of the environment, so on and so forth, all those debates are there. But I'm not getting into that. Again, long term, what is it? They are not coming here to invest to just leave money behind. They are coming here because, this is another thing that is amazing to me. Oh, India is now, everybody thinks it's a great opportunity. So we all feel a warm, nice glow that the world thinks that India is a great opportunity. We are getting noticed by the world. Anyway, that's an aside. So what we have been doing as a nation for generations, we are being asked to now vacate to placate the foreign retailer. This is the policy proposal. It to me sounds awful even to contemplate it, but that's the policy. Who is the government letting in and what is their track record? Everybody talks of Walmart's supply chain efficiency and so forth. It is the likes of Walmart, it is the likes of Home Depot, it is the likes of Lowe's, it is the likes of Toys R Us, it is the likes of Dalhousie, it is the likes of Lawson from Japan, and so on and so on and so on. There are dozens of these companies, and they will be lining up. And I'm not going to get into the sizes and scope and scale of activities of the companies. Let it just be said that these run into hundreds of billions of dollars. Walmart's turnover alone is in excess of entire Indian foreign trade. Okay, so they have money of unlimited debt and scope, blah blah. Okay, but more importantly, everybody talks of their efficiency, but very few people talk about what the nature of these companies are. And everybody assumes that companies means they are good people. They come from an environment, and it is in their own home markets. This is how they are reviewed. These are some of the most ferocious, predatory companies in the world. I'm saying these words after thinking about it. I'm not just saying it. Their practices in the markets are ruthless. Walmart calls it, they have a phrase for it. They say stomp the comp. Stomp the competition. Walmart is not the only example. I don't want to keep referring to Walmart, but that's an example that obviously comes to mind. If you go to Tesco, look up Google. Go on Google Tesco Town. What a Tesco Town really means. Their resources are enormous. They can invest. They can lose money for years. What the consequence on the local environment as they continue to lose, we'll think through in a minute. Now when I say they're predatory companies, you're saying, what are you really saying? You want evidence? When people say, oh, nobody has shut down. Don't look at India, look outside. In just 13 years in Thailand, 3 foreign retailers have taken over 38% of the market. You can regard Thailand as one state of the country. Okay, Thailand has a population of about 60 million. Not dissimilar to Tamil Nadu. And they wiped out local retailers in the tens of thousands. It's a fact. I came across a study put together by Mahidol University in Bangkok. And I quote, what took 60 to 80 years to happen in the West has taken place in 15 years in Thailand. Thailand now is struggling with the problem of trying to contain the big retailers and prevent monopolistic practices. They're just across the Bay of Bengal, not far from here. Now the disruption these big retailers have caused in their own home markets is phenomenal and well documented. I was traveling and I had too many things to think about. There is a book that I wanted to carry to this, but you can Google this. The title of the book is